Hey old soul, just over a year ago I sold everything I owned and moved to the land of Bali with my ex-husband and 3 kids. Now I live my dream life, traveling first class around the world, teaching others how to do the same. If you are ready for a life that is so abundant and free, where money flows like air so effortlessly that you don't even care because you are simply focusing on you and allowing everything to be true, then you are exactly where you need to be. Let me teach you how to be wildly abundant and insanely free.
Hello, wealthy old souls. I am so excited today because I have a very special guest all the way from Canada, Amy Elizabeth. You will literally feel her vibration before she even speaks because that is how beautiful and clean her energy is. She is an absolute queen, and I'm so excited to have her today to go deep with this journey of wealth, health, abundance, human design, which is her forte, and really just lean into the dance and the flow of life. Welcome, Amy. How are you?
My gosh, Eva, thank you so much. That was such a beautiful intro, and I'm so happy to be here. I am just feeling so blessed with your audience and your energy, and I'm excited for our conversation. So thank you.
You are so welcome. And the honor is mine. It is so beautiful to resonate with someone that's literally on the other side of the world that is doing similar things with 3 kids, being a single mom, holding this high level of feminine leadership, but doing it from deep embodiment, not needing to perform, not needing to prove, just really being. So, yeah, let our listeners know a little bit about you. How on earth did you even get to this point in your life? Because let's face it, the things that we do today were never part of the dream when we were little kids sitting at school going, one day I'm just going to work for myself and do it all and actually enjoy life. So, yeah, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about how on earth you even got to this point.
Oh my goodness, it's so true. It's so funny because I would have never imagined, like I didn't, none of this even existed when we were teenagers. It's so wild. So thank you, God, for all of this. But yes, I am a single mom of three. I am a projector. I'm a 5-1 Splenic projector, and all my kids are Manny Gens. And I was actually a school teacher. So I was a school teacher for 9 years. And right after my second daughter was born, so Lucy, I all of a sudden realized there was this online space and there was like somebody offering life coaching in my city. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do some life coaching. So random, such a splenic head, just intuitively pulled. And then right after that, I found out that there was like people running courses online. And I was like, what is this? And I bought a course and my life changed from there. I then invested $10,000 into a coaching package with the beautiful Jacqueline Shaw, who I work with now. And it was all hustle. It was all like building a business. It was all strategy. There was like Facebook ads, and I didn't have a business. I was on maternity leave, planning on going back to teaching. Like this was just the craziest thing. I did not have a business. And I sold nothing during that time. I had no sales come in, $0. And then I went back to work teaching when my second daughter was 1. I was in the full stress, all of a sudden projector burnout was upon me. I was like, what is going on? I was just off for a year with my daughter on mat leave and then go back to teaching full on just chaos. And then I found human design. I was literally on a run one night in June, my ear pods in, and I heard human design. And I did not look up this podcast, it just randomly came on. I sprinted home to my computer. I pulled up my computer. I'm like, what is this human design? And of course, I was like, oh, that is me. That is me to a T. This is the best news I've ever heard in my entire life. And I dove into studying it and obviously pulling out my kids, figuring out how to parent them. Like I went full-fledged into learning everything I could. I then had the summer off, and sure enough, sales started coming in my business. I was doing this energetic alignment coaching, is what I was calling it. And I was just starting to lean into my projector alignment, like really starting to understand what that looked like, what it felt like, the misalignment, etc. Summer ended. I went back to work as teaching again, and again, just the chaos was erupting. It was crazy. My now ex-husband, husband at the time, he was starting to really go into these dark places I didn't even know about. But I was starting to really feel that separation. I thought it was just kind of, I was growing and doing, all of this work, and he wasn't, but really he was not in a good place. I end up getting pregnant with my son, and at this point, my business is starting to take off. Like, I'm really beginning to integrate human design behind the scenes for me. The clients I had, I was just coaching them based off of, but I wasn't talking about it out loud. I invested again in Melanie and Lara at this point, and it was like 6K for a 5-week mastermind. All I did was talk about human design and how afraid I was to talk about it online. Like, oh my gosh, like, it was such a different person. And then I end up all of a sudden finding out what was really going on with my husband, finding out I was pregnant, all of these things happening at the same time, feeling so much stress. And I took a leave from teaching, and I was like, I'm going to go full out in my business. And being a projector, being pregnant, I need to take care of my energy, my body, my alignment. My business quickly began to grow. I hired Melanie at one-to-one coaching, and all of a sudden I'm having 10K months. All of a sudden I'm having 20K months. All of a sudden I'm giving birth to my son, having a 30K month. All of a sudden I'm breastfeeding him. He's on coaching calls. My other 2 daughters are like home, not home, and I'm having a 45K a month. I'm like, what is this? It was absolute magic. And then all of a sudden in 2020, this is fast forwarding to 2020, I found everything out that was going on with my ex. He left, he didn't come back, and I became 100% single mom. Every single bill, every single catch up on all of the bills that were missed. I had no idea. Every single responsibility, and there was no contact for about a year and a half, even in my kids' lives. So it was 100%, and then the world shut down, and it was crazy. It was the craziest time, but it was actually the biggest blessing for me, because as a projector, going through all of that and being able to really hold my kids close to me and not having the pressure or the stress of going out or seeing people, or needing to explain what was happening, as we would socially see people, it was just like, I can focus on me. I can have this time. I can kind of protect my little bubble. And a couple months later, I had my first 6-figure cash month, and then it was just up and up and up and up. And I literally brought in millions and millions and millions of dollars within 5 years. And then I retired Align by Design, and now have joined forces. I just went from here to here with Melanie and Lara inside of Alpha HD. And we started that a year ago, coming up on a year, and it just kind of was like, I need to do things differently. I want to join forces. I want to go bigger. I want to really continue the evolution. As a projector, you yourself, it's this creative zone, and I think people think projectors are so focused on one thing, or so like stuck kind of in our way of how we do things. But for me, anyways, it's all about creativity, and it's all about change, and it's all about evolving. Even, the whole theory of human design is evolution, is more potential, limitless potential. So in that, we just have to keep going. So that's it in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And it's so funny because when people ask, you're like, yeah, that's like, the tiniest little snippet. Everyone just hears like the highlight reel, not realizing like how many sleepless nights there were, and how many tears there were, and how much embodiment. People are like, wow, you're glowing. It's like, yeah, a few years of crying and screaming and feeling what had to be felt. But wow, I really see you in that. And to hold that as a projector, it's beautiful, because I feel like being a projector is embodiment. And I feel that when you fully see yourself and love yourself and protect your energy, the world's the limit. Like, that there's nothing that we can't do. But also there's still conditioning around like, you're not meant to work hard, or you're not meant to do this. And I look at it kind of like the quantum waves. When the wave comes in, you have endless energy because you're riding that wave of creation, and it's like orgasmic. It's the life force energy. And wow. So I'm curious because obviously there's a lot of stuff in human design around like this 7-year deconditioning phase and really having to unlearn everything. Did you find yourself having to go through that as you were growing the business, or did you go through that before the business? Like, how did you find, or did you find that that was completely irrelevant and you didn't have to go through that?
I think that like 7 years really comes from your average circumstances. And my beginning would have been on track. Like when I first found human design while I was still teaching, like all of that was very on track for, I would say, a 7-year period. And then when circumstances all of a sudden radically changed in my life, I really decided to go all in. I decided like understanding this component of myself, understanding my human design gave me so much ease and freedom and almost peace of mind to be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm not going to work 40 hours a week. I'm not going to work 80 hours a week. I'm not going to build a business the way that everyone else is. I'm going to work 6, 8, 10 hours in a week. There we go. Makes sense. I'm going to have high prices. I'm going to bring the world what they didn't know they were missing. I'm going to do it in a way that nobody else has done it, like easy. So it gave my mind like this logical perspective where it was like, oh, okay, everything has changed. And since everything has changed, I'm just going to change everything also. And it honestly was the perfect storm. It really was. And it was a lot of nights of crying and a lot of heavy lifting, but it was really when I understood, if I didn't understand my human design and alignment, it would have been a completely different scenario. And so those 7 years, all of a sudden, I just grew massively in those 7 years. I turned 7 years into 2 years. And then I turned those 2 years into 1 year. I just kept collapsing time because I was building that power so quickly. And again, it was so logical for me, which I think is the most incredible thing about human design is it is such a logical system. And it's then the energetics, right? When our brain can understand something, our energy feels safe. And because there was so much, I want to say like lack of safety around me, where again, like it felt like everything, if you were looking from the outside, like I had eyes looking at me that were just like worried eyes, and I could feel, and they were like, are you sure you're okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm thriving. But I really was because it just felt so free and it felt so right and it felt so aligned and connected. So I would say if all circumstances are typical and you're really doing the work, 7 years is going to be that deconditioning phase. I would say if you're completely devoted, like the standard is your human design alignment, and your world gets shook up, it is the biggest blessing because if you stay in standard and integrity with your human design, you will align to your design and you'll have then the power where circumstances don't matter. Most people are like, oh, my perfect little life or my life as I've always known it, and this is my alignment, and so I'll align. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, your income dropped, and people freak out and they can't hold alignment. It's just when we build the power, then nothing else matters. Your circumstance do not matter. And I think that's the most amount of embodied power and alignment.
You hit the nail on the head there. That's the gold mine because everybody is obsessed with logical outcome, not realizing that the universe is completely illogical. Like what you were doing was holding certainty and uncertainty at the same time. And it's the duality. Like right before you're about to break through to the multiple 6 figures, 7-figure months, often, and I don't want to put this out there because we don't have to create stories, but there will be tests. There will be months that are like the $500,000 month before the multiple 7 figures come in. And if you react to that, if you're like, oh my gosh, it's gone down, it's like you have to clear space. The people need to leave. The countries, in my experience, countries have to go. Things need to shift because the puzzle pieces have to move away. And people are afraid to sit in the void. So then they hustle faster because their nervous system's not regulated enough to hold the true power, which is just ourselves, which is just standing in truth and being like, this is enough. There is nothing outside of me that changes anything about me. Husband leaving, cool. Like he couldn't hold this. Next, like, is someone better coming along? And people are so worried to lean into that and sit. And I really do believe that the initiations into this power are huge. And if people actually knew, and I was talking to a lady the other day who was like, if my ego knew what I was going to go through, I would have said no. Like it just would have been too much because it is a lot. But when you're in it, you're not really focused on how many things you're going through. You're just like, cool. Thank you for expanding me, God. Thank you for showing me how good it can get. Because in order to really truly see how beautiful life can be, in order to really live heaven on earth, well, you've got to live hell on earth. Otherwise, you wouldn't know heaven on earth. How would you ever really experience it? So when you're living in hell on earth, this is beautiful. Cool. Thanks. I choose this one, but I'm here, I'm embodied, I'm experiencing it, I can hold it all. So, what I'm curious about is like for me, energy is everything. Like it's absolutely everything. Like everything from injecting peptides to ice baths to, going to Pilates, really just being in those really high vibrational environments, being around high vibrational people, just everything's energy. I want to know because it looks easy from the outside in. It looks easy to be a single mom with 3 kids. I know that my kids are probably they're the greatest lesson, the greatest test. They're the reason my capacity is huge because they have stretched it beyond means. I always say, if you can raise kids, you can hold, $1 billion company because it's the same nervous system capacity. It's just you've got to change the way that you're looking at life. So I'm curious what you do every day, how you turn up for yourself to hold this energy, to regulate your nervous system, to be the queen that you are, to hold all of your clients, hold all the people around you, hold your house, hold the life that you're living, hold the money, just hold all of it. Yeah, talk to us a little bit about all of that.
And I think this is also the greatest gift that we're giving our children is to show them what we lean into. And I don't know, I can't speak for you, obviously, but on my own end, like I didn't see the depth of the work that we're doing anywhere as models in my life. I saw people going to work and I saw stress and I saw a little bit of self-care, but not the way where it's like, no, this is how our lives work because I do this, because I take care of me, because there is a spaciousness, then we can give to everyone else, right? So I think, especially as projector moms, it's the greatest gift that we can give our kids. What's the energy type of your children?
All generators.
All generous. So you're all sacrals too. A
Yes,
lot of
yes.
energy.
So it's a lot, and I've had to normalize rest. Like
Yeah.
rest for me is a growth strategy. If especially when I'm going through massive voids or massive up levels, I've really had to normalize. Like I get paid millions to be on the couch. Like to actually like I get paid millions to lie in the sun. And yeah, really, really look after that because it is a lot. It is a lot
Yeah.
holding their little energies and they're moving all the time and their polarities of emotions and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I do. To answer your question, it's very similar. Literally everything you listed is exactly what I do. I have a Pilates reformer at my house. So I have a private Pilates instructor that comes to my house twice a week. I have my treadmill, which I'm obsessed with, that I use in the winter. I have like a beautiful little gym. I have a huge cabana that I then shift the gym to in the summer. And then I go for runs. Like I love running. It's so therapeutic for me. And then I do B12 injections and then NAD plus injections. And I have salads and food delivered. And I have a lot of like downtime too, where I'll just like sit by my pools in the sun. That's what I did this afternoon to get this nice tan. And I literally, this was one of the biggest things working through being so vocal online of how many hours I work, where then people are stopping by my house or I get phone calls or I have all of these expectations. And I'm like, no, that's also like my work time, but that means like I'm not talking to anyone or I'm reading a book or I'm just like recharging. I do a lot of red light therapy as well. I have a mat. And then I'll do like obviously like self-care in the like massages and chiro and body care as well. But those are my top ones, meditation too. So really leaning into again the energetics, the rest, the recharge, like anything that I feel like recharges my energy and can give me what I don't produce on my own. And I think that's also one of a superpower of ours when we can realize, oh, we don't produce this on our own. We don't produce that endless energy. So we need support, whether that's other people doing things for us at our houses, whether that, or for our kids, or it's, yeah, literally supplements that are going to support our system that much more. Like we need the support.
Yeah, I love that so much. I the same thing. Private chef, the cleaner, the red light therapy every day. Like I love red light and ice baths, so important. And and that was probably the biggest shift I had to make, which is like you're getting paid to exist. Like if I'm sitting in a sauna, I'm still getting paid. I don't have to be doing this type of work to get paid. I don't have to think like I've got to do all these things to do the marketing. It's like, no, like my energy is just getting paid right now because I'm here. I'm on this planet. I'm in the frequency of the new earth, the embodiment. You're doing the work of getting better every day. And we're always doing the inner work subconsciously. It's a bit like if I was sitting here speaking to you and I was like all over the top and I was really loud and I was talking over you, I'd walk away and go like, where did I need validation? Like what about me needed that? Because we're always doing the work. We're always there. We're embodied. We're moving with this beautiful energy. And I really feel like the projectors were here to show people how to live the new earth. And since the move into the age of Aquarius, it's so much easier now because the world's kind of catching on. It's like, oh, you can be lazy and make a lot of money. And it's not even being lazy. It's just a different way of being.
It's a completely different way of being. Like I always say, that's one of the biggest misconceptions. Like I am such a busy person in the sense of having three children. If I didn't have three children, I would not be doing as much as I'm doing. But like again, circumstantially, they have soccer and they have gymnastics and they have a million and one friends. So it's just my reality. And because of that reality, I have to be able to hold that, and it's not that I'm then going to limit what I can do there. It's like, then how do I bring more power to my work in the amount of time that I have? And it's all about maximizing, right? It's like, how do we maximize our power? How do we maximize our energy? How do we maximize our frequency? How do we maximize the transmission? And it's just as simple as that. We could give ourselves 5 hours a day on burnout, and we could give ourselves 2 hours a day on full capacity. Our 2 hours a day would be more efficient and powerful than our 5 hours on burnout. So it's just like the math, it's like projector math instead of girl math.
No, when you said 5 hours, my whole system was like, oh, 5 hours of work. That would just I'm like, I couldn't do it. I'm like, and don't get me wrong, like when I'm writing books or I'm doing things and I'm in the flow, but I don't like being on that long. Like even unless obviously I'm speaking at a massive event that's going across a few days, like I'll be in that energy and it's amazing. But yeah, that whole notion, I'm like, it's and what you were saying earlier was so beautifully said because I think about this all the time. No one showed us these lives. Like there was nobody that ever showed us that we could have this life. Like people always say to me, you moved to Bali, divorced with your ex-husband and three kids. I'm like, yes. And that was not like I don't know anyone in the world that's done that, that's co-parenting as successfully as we are. We're very, very blessed, but is able to live this life, is able to be able to do what we're doing. And women really are leading at the moment because we're creating businesses from the feminine and being in the healthy feminine and the embodiment of the light feminine and the dark feminine, being able to hold the power. And I'd love to go deep because I think The funny thing about it, because obviously I'm an energy worker, and it's something that we're always talking about, the energetics. And a lot of people that don't work with energy or haven't gone deep like we have and aren't doing the meditations and the nervous system regulation and all that type of stuff, it takes a while to really understand energy and actually move from your spleen. Like it's a next level thing. And I feel like as projectors, we are very, very intuitive when our energy is clean, when we're not surrounded with low level vibrations like gossip or drugs or alcohol. We can really hear the call very, very loudly. And even the other day, a friend said to me, what, you just have a $20,000 offer, but you don't have a funnel to get them in there. I'm like, I don't need a funnel. I am the funnel. And but I trust the knowing. Like, I don't look at logic. I don't look at how life tells me it needs to be. It's just, oh, my spleen has spoken. God's spoken. The universe is moving through me. I know what it feels like to move in alignment and not in alignment. And I'd love you to kind of speak to that, because obviously you've had a lot of clients that probably struggle with this piece of the game where they're so in conditioning, they think they have to move, but it's almost like a game of slow. Like, you have to almost lean back and be so patient, enjoy the journey, and then it's so loud and you'll constantly be guided.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest factors to hold in like how would that feel? You know, like when you said a funnel too, I'm like, ugh. Like you want to think about how to do that, right? And it's like, and how would it feel if that's not successful? And like to me, I would be so bitter about that if I put time, energy, effort into it and an expectation, that this should work. And then it didn't. And I would just be so bitter about the wasted time, the wasted energy, and the wasted expectation. So it's almost like, how would we feel? How would we feel with this? And when you begin to lead with feeling, you're tapping into what your energy is. You're tapping in even to your nervous system, because some people will be like, that feels scary. That feels unsafe. That feels risky. And then you start to get somewhere with that, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so we need to do a little bit of work here. So it doesn't feel safe, or it feels misaligned? And there's a big difference between that, right? And especially as a splenic, our spleen is all fear. And the other side of that fear, when we can walk with the fear, is everything we could have ever imagined and more. So
Mm.
it has to be misalignment, which is going to be bitterness for us. It's going to be frustration for Manny, Jens, and Jens. Is going to be anger for the manifestors and disappointment for the reflectors. Is it misalignment, or is it your nervous system? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it identity? Is it, like you said, validation? Is it worthiness? Is it old patterns? Is it, yeah, self-sabotage, right? Like, what is it? And if it's not bitterness or one of those misalignment themes, then it's a you thing, right? It's an internal thing, or it's a logical mind that refuses to relax, and there's control, and it's that masculine.
Mm. I love that. And I feel a lot of my clients, they're high-end leaders. They're like you and I, but they've come from so much conditioning around the hustle. It's like we were brought up in this industry. I've been in business, gosh, 2013 is when I started. So what's that, 12, coming up to 13 years now. And we didn't have women like you or I back then. It was the Tony Robbins. It was the hustle, hustle, hustle. And you'd go to those big events and they were great. Like, I loved them, but I was a wounded masculine. Like, it was just like burnout, burnout, burnout. And you'd have the momentum,
Yeah.
but it wasn't worth it. Like, you'd see the results and you'd cry because your body was so burnt out that you couldn't move. And it was like, you've created all the success, but it didn't feel like success to you because it was built from the rocky foundation. It wasn't built from pure soul wealth and energetic wealth. It was just to have the material wealth. And when you just have material wealth, the foundation crumbles and you're not able to hold it. So yeah, really, really, really powerful. I'm curious, like, you've obviously worked with every single human design type. What do you feel? Because I've been told projectors have the longest wait to make money because of the conditioning, because we're completely opposite, like against the grain. I'm curious what your experience has been with all the other different human design types in business. Which ones seem to just be naturally in rhythm, in flow with life? Like life is just really built for them. And the interesting business themes that you've noticed working with the different types of human designs and all that
That's
jazz.
such a good question. No one's ever asked me that. You know what my answer is, and it's actually not human design, it's faith. Faith and personal power. Because I mean, I built financial success extremely quickly, and I'm obviously a projector. I've seen your typical Manny Gen or generator who has so much energy and is like working nonstop, not being able to make the money, so it's not about because really we're all conditioned against each other. So, we think it's that way as looking at the sacrals, like, oh my God, if only I had all that energy. And the sacrals are like, oh my gosh, I'm doubting every single move. Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Right. And they're all in their shoulds and they're doing too much also. So it's not really, the world isn't really supported for any type specifically, but I think the ones that have the fastest success or the biggest success or the most amount of personal success, like what they really feel is like they made it, are the ones that have the most amount of faith and really focus on building their personal power and their self-identity with their designs. And the ones that resist that the least. Like even if I'm looking at myself or even some of my really successful clients, if I'm looking at like a lot of fifth lines, once they lean into that identity, it's like game over. They're like, oh yeah, I get it. I am it. I'm being it. I'm gonna stop fighting it. When I look at the generators who just allow themselves to be wildly obsessed with like what they're doing, it's like they go all in and they're buzzy and people can't get enough of them and they can't get enough that people can't get enough of them. And then I see like the MGs who are just like, okay, I'm not going to feel bad about doing it my way and forgetting about this and going on to this, right? It's all about like that self-acceptance, the identity, and truly holding faith in which they can't see yet. Because as we all know, the results come when you're not trying to make them come, but you're truly in the alignment of them showing up. And you're not sitting there like, did I do it? Did I do it? Did it work? Did it work? You're just like, I am obsessed with myself. I'm obsessed with my life. I'm obsessed with my business. I'm obsessed with my offers. And you just stay in that zone. And that's faith to me.
100%. It's the journey of it's almost I like and again, this is just a story, but I always like to look at it like God will push you into like the hardest corner so that everything can go and you can realize that you are everything and there's nothing else. Like I think the most beautiful place to be, like on my journey right before I moved to Bali, I lost everything. And I don't believe that we ever lose anything because none of this is ours anyway. Morning from sunny Bali. The birds are singing. The sun is smiling. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. Touch me. Take me to that other place. You always have to listen to my terrible singing. But I know that I'm not a disgrace. What you don't have, you don't need it now. Okay, you've heard my terrible singing. I'm very, very, very excited because the 11th of June is my birthday. And guess what? I have channeled my first book. It is called You Are Wealth. And this is so exciting. I'm going to have a book launch party, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Bali time. So check what that time is for you. Replays will be available. It is going to be so fun. We're going to do some psychic readings. We're going to do some activations into your new wealth timeline. I am even going to do a life force energy wealth consciousness activation. So that's going to be at the end. So you don't have to stay for that if you don't feel the call, but it is very, 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 very potent inner work. So if you do feel the call, come and have a ball because there is room for all. What was I going to say? It's going to be so much fun. So usually I charge a lot more for this because I'm celebrating because it's my birthday. It's only, well, actually, I don't want to say the price right now. Check it out there because the price will go up. It is early bird, but it is very, very, very affordable. It's very, very affordable. So everybody can come and join. I I want to thank you for being here with me, for being with me over the last few years in this group, on my YouTube, on my podcast, wherever you are watching this journey unfold for me. It has been such a crazy journey into my life's medicine, into my soul's truth, into constantly up-leveling and changing the restructure of my business to follow the call of God, Angel, Source, Universe, Divine. So I just love you. As you know, I love to rhyme. I love to have a good time and really just allow you to remember that life is for fun. You don't have to be so serious. You've already won. It's a crazy, 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 crazy world. But you're here because you chose all of it. You chose all of it. You chose the light, you chose the dark, you chose all of it. And together we get to navigate that and we get to have fun and we get to play, we get to dance. So these are the wealth codes that your soul has already known, that has been inside of you for all along. So when you're ready to activate those codes, you're ready to literally just get paid to exist, to get paid when you're lying on the couch, get paid when you're lying in the sun, get paid when you're in the sauna, when you're in the ice bath, when you're at the gym. If you feel the call, come and have a ball. The link is below. You already know. And I'm going to go live out my crazy, crazy, crazy day. I love you all so much. Big love, wealthy old souls. And I will chat to you very, very soon. If you have any questions, pop them below. But it is just such an honor to share this with each and every one of you, to celebrate with you and just keep staying true. Stay true to you. And yeah, I don't have any of the crazy songs in my head, so I will leave it there. Big love, wealthy old souls. Mwah. But it was just like stripped back. I lost my office, my penthouse apartment, 3 businesses. Like it was just hit, rock bottom. And it was the most beautiful experience. It was extremely painful because I was so attached to so many material things, because my parents were so competitive. They were those people that you'd be playing tennis and they're like, oh, you didn't win. And they'd like leave you on the court, be like, you're not my daughter. And so it was so much like conditioning around, needing to be successful to have their love, have their approval. And this was honestly the hardest time of my life. But to be able to look at that, put your arms out to the sky and just be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like none of this means anything. And then in that place, you can create from a place of, it doesn't matter if it works, it doesn't matter if it does. It's like with or without you energy. And because you're like, it doesn't matter if one person shows up or a million people show up, you're just in the energy of whoever needs this can have this. And I think there's also like, I feel like I spend a lot of time in the invisible world. So I'm quite delusional, like a lot of us are, obviously embodied and grounded and love this life. But it's very much like right now we're helping people just by our frequency. It's so illogical. It's not like you have to do this to get that. Obviously, coming into our offers and into the frequency of the offer is so powerful and so transformational. But at the same time, it's like, by us waking up today, we're changing millions of people's lives because we've turned up today in this frequency, in a healed energy, and an energy that doesn't need to prove or boast or perform or be anything other than who we are. It's just like, if you love me or hate me, that's all good. Like everyone has the right to reject me.
Yeah, I love that so much. And for any projectors that are listening, like how you just said all of that is the key, because of your perspective. So as projectors, we'll often get stuck in like the negative, and I call it like the 95% of like what's going right. We see the 5% of what's going wrong. But when it's flipped, when it's like, again, real life circumstantially, if we were to look at this like a normal person, 95% is going wrong. But if we start to see the 5% that's right, our entire body feels success. We're like, ding, 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 success, success, success. And then that grows from that foundation of the feeling of success, and not needing tangible success, but it's like you get the feeling of it. You get the experience of success. So as you said that, it's like all about polarity. And as we can hold polarity, we can hold money, because it's no matter what happens, we can hold and we can see the gift in the darkness, and we can find the light in the darkness. And in the light, we know there will be darkness again, where it's all going to happen, but because it's supposed to.
And we get better at it. Like when we're holding it, I'm sure you found this as well. Like I went through a lot very, very early on in my life, like left home at 15. My dad took his life. It was almost like the universe was like, chew, chew, like take it, take it, take it. And then my first year when I moved to Bali, in the space of like 24 hours, my grandma died, my best friend took his life, and my dog died. And it was such a different experience because when you understand quantum physics, like there's a million different timelines where they're all still alive, right? And I've attracted that timeline because there's parts of me that have shred and needed to be removed. And obviously I cried, I felt the feeling, but it was like one day. Whereas when my dad died, it was like a decade. I could have cried at the drop of a hat because I wasn't embodied. I didn't understand anything. And we're always going through it. It was like one of my staff had to take me to court. Like it was just all this stuff. And everyone's like, are you okay? As you were saying before. And you're like, I'm fine. Like my capacity can hold all of this. Like I deal with tantrums every day. Like this is just, things in the quantum field happening. And every problem's always solved before it even begins. So you're just sitting there being like, cool. And the funny thing about what you were saying earlier, like we see the everything that's going wrong and not that little bit of success. But it's interesting because when we understand the universe, we understand that we're already holding the billions before they ever come into the physical reality. So we're already successful. Like we've always been successful. But the purpose of life is to enjoy the journey and to be the avatar that goes into each bit and really sees it. But our, soul contract, our timeline, our journey, however you want to look at it, it's all there. We would never desire it. Like it's always been ours. And it's so funny that we, have, and it's beautiful because that's what the human experience is. But it's so funny that we're like, I don't have it now. And it's like, you do have it now. You're just a bit limited with these eyes. You just can't see it just yet, but you do have it because you have the feeling, and that's all it really is.
Yeah, and it just softens every fear, right? Because if it's your desire and you're imagining it and you're feeling it and you're like, it's going to happen, it's just a matter of time.
Mm.
And again, I believe we can expedite that timeline by being in alignment. And again, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, who we're being expedites that timeline. And it's going to be there for us. It's just, do we become the person in the physical reality that actually gets what's already ours?
It's yeah, I love that so much. It really is it's like we get to this, and this is how I look at it. We get to this place where our energy is so clean that we just can't be inauthentic. We can't be out of alignment. The second that I feel like someone can't be in my life, they can't be in my life. I have the conversation straight away. I don't sleep on it. Like I just know. It's the second I need to get rid of a business, you sell the business. Like you there's no doubt. It's just you're moving from this place because your energy is so clean. You know yourself so well. There's no fear or am I making the right decision? Like, obviously, sometimes we'll have tiny little glitches of doubt. That's normal. It's human. But in your heart and your soul, it's not hard to know what's meant for you and what's not meant for you. And I love that prayer where it's just like, well, it wasn't meant for me. Like, what's meant for me will come for me. What's not meant for me won't come for me. I'm curious, what's coming through now is a little bit around like the dating life and calling in your dream partner. And I don't know, for me, obviously, leaving my ex-husband, there's this whole journey. There's this death of a wife that has to die, and you've got to go through this stripping phase. And I had no idea because I was with my ex-husband for like 13 years, and dating again. Like it was like 3 years of just this crazy journey where the first date I paid, and then I was like, okay, this is not what we do. And then I like quickly go fix up my energy and then come back out there. And then I had a fling maybe a year ago that was very quick and fast, but all the lessons in like 2 weeks, it was phenomenal. And I've been celibate for, over a year now, but I felt my person. Like his energy is just, I know exactly who he is. I'm already with him. I can feel it in the field. There's no fear. There's no, where is he now? And I'm curious to know what your journey's been like going through all of this. And because how you do one thing's how you do everything. So I do feel that it does relate to business as well.
This is so crazy because I actually have chills. We are on a soul level. I have had these experiences. So I've been celibate also for like almost a year and a half now. And I had a boyfriend who lived with me after I had like my marriage ended. I took like a year and a half, and then I started dating, and then I stopped dating, and then I just ran into this guy. And then it was like the biggest lesson of my entire life. It was a huge expansion in so many ways, and also big, huge lessons and up levels. But since I've been celibate, it's been the exact same feeling. I know this person, and I've had these experiences. So I go to this church, and I've had these moments where I've literally felt him and his hand like on like my butt cheek, and just like right beside me. I've had these moments where I'm like, oh, like I'm doing something by myself, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tell you I was doing this by myself and wishing you were there and like excited for the day that you were there. And now we're doing it. It's kind of like this forward psychic moment where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tell you this when we're doing this together. And I've had all of these moments, and I've also had all of these moments in at the exact same reality of being like, oh my God, do I even want to be with anyone? Do I even want anyone in my life? Am I going to find a person? Am I going to go through something like last time? Like all of those human chatter. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I was with you at church. It's like my inside is so certain. And again, speaking in like splenic language where it's just like, I know, I'm certain, absolutely. But then these moments where it's like, well, how? That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to date anyone in my city. I don't want them to be from here. So I don't really go out. Where am I going to meet this person? And then it's like, oh, I already know you.
So yeah, I know I know the energy of my person so well, and I know I need to get on a plane to Dubai. Like a lot of my clients are over there anyway. But it's interesting because I feel like Canada's more masculine energy. Bali is not because it's surrounded by water. So it's like the feminine island. So men here are very, long hair feminine. And, being the women that we are, so much power. I'm so soft. I've done so much work to soften, but at the same time, I have a lot of power, and that needs insane, powerful masculine energy to hold that power. And I wouldn't give up this life for somebody that's not fully embodied in that energy. But I love that you say that, because I was like, am I the only one that's felt this person for like 2 years? And, I'll be deep in a meditation and he'll jump in and kiss me and be like, see you soon. I'm like, okay, hilarious, because, universal time, like to God, it's soon, but to us, it's like, it's been a year, like we're gonna hurry up the process. But it's the journey, right? It's the like, and I don't know what your situation is with your ex-husband now, but for me, I had to do so much cleaning, like to get from removing the sexual energy, removing the like making it so clean that you just drop the kids off. We're so amicable in front of the kids. I'm very blessed. His parents had a intense divorce, so he doesn't want that for our kids. So dropping off the kids, being civil in front of the kids. If they have birthday parties or things like that, of course he's welcome. But at the same time, it's the energetics of I'm with my person. Does this dynamic feel aligned? Is this fully aligned? And yeah, just recently I felt that big shift of just like it fully fell away. And I was like, oh, the work it's so beautiful because it's working in the invisible, right? We do so much work in the invisible realms before it ever comes to pass in the third dimension. And when it comes, it's almost just like, oh, yep, of course you be here now. Like, I don't really care if you're here. I love lying horizontal across the bed. I'm like, I love this life. Like my youngest still sleeps with me sometimes when he's here. He's 4. And when he's not, I'm just like horizontal, stretching out. I'm like, oh, I love this life, hugging all my pillows and my luxurious sheets. And I'm like, this is heaven. This is the journey. This is everything. And I don't think it's weird, but I love hugging myself and kissing myself. Like I just love myself so much. I'm like, I got you. Like, this is so beautiful.
And that's the thing too, right? When you're so in love with your life, yourself, your family, your kids, your business, it's like somebody has to come in and bring more. Like that's a big person. That is a very strong man, that's like, you're coming in and adding to my life. Like that's wild. And that, I think that's what trips me up sometimes is I'm like, how is somebody going to match what I already have and how happy I am or how much I enjoy my time alone? Like I'm actually really going to want to spend that time with somebody. It's like, but then of course, yes, right? And that's the thing where it's like these people are so rare, and that's why it's the timing, it's the taking time, because it's like that person is going to be so rare to enhance your life, to be the perfect fit in your life and your dynamic and your family and your ex, where it's just like perfect. It will really be perfect.
Whenever I flip up or in the early stages of this journey, like I feel like, 3 years in Bali, pretty much being alone most of that time, crying out the isolation, sitting with myself, falling in love with myself again. I really felt this energy that I always think, and it really helps me with the limitations of our mind, which is I'm going to have the rest of my life with this person. I really need to enjoy this life now, because it's almost like your days of being single are outnumbered, or somebody that's about to make billions of dollars, your days of being a millionaire are outnumbered. Like enjoy them, like enjoy the days before it happens, because you're never going to get them back again. And that's what makes this journey so delicious. And what came through when you said that about your person was you've created a life that nobody has ever seen or known. So he's going to be a person that nobody has ever seen or known or experienced. And yeah, I can, when I tune into your field, I can see his energy. It's huge. Like it's not that he's, but he's very, very masculine energy. Like, and it'll just be this whole nother journey of, yeah, beauty. And I talked to one of my friends that's in a very healthy relationship, because I don't know what a healthy relationship is. The healthiest relationship I have is with myself and obviously with my kids. But, they go up and down. I help them be regulated. But she said to me, when you have your person, like the grass is greener. Like it's just them. It's your ride or die. And I'm like, fascinating. Interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm the
Taking
same
notes.
way.
She has.
And I'm always serving people. I'm always like watching, like, I like that about your relationship. I like that about, I will never be in something like that. Or like, oh, yeah, no, I would rather be single than that. But it's so true.
But that's the journey, right? Like it would be so boring if we were good at everything. It would be so boring if we were good at business and relationships and all the things. Like we wouldn't learn anything. Like it would be fun. It wouldn't it teach us anything. And I love that I'll get to have two marriages in this lifetime. I love that there'll be two huge lessons. I look at the first one like the karma, all the lessons, everything I needed to be the woman for the soul love of my life, that I really will be entering this relationship with the best version of me. I don't think I could be, and obviously I will, we're always getting better and better and better, but to be this version of me today is like my biggest success there ever is. And to meet somebody in this energy is just so beautiful. Like it's such a blessing and such an honor as a projector to be seen back. I think that will be my biggest thing, because the first relationship, he never fully saw me. He could say that he did, but it was because I didn't see myself. So
Yeah, and I think even as mothers, I think it's the greatest gift too, that we are able to be single and not inside of a relationship, to be the best versions of ourselves, where again, our kids get that. And even I look at this time of where you said like your days are numbered. Like every day I get where it's just me and them, I'm like, this is the best. Like these are the best times of our lives. And like again, it gets to get better, but like right now, these are the best times of our lives. And I'm the best version of myself for them during these times. So they get to be the best version, and it all, like that's what I think about my marriage too, is that like I wouldn't have been my best to raise them. There's no way there would have been no growth that happened like it did if that didn't happen. So it's like everything, even in that polarity, for anyone that's listening, like when you're experiencing something where you're like, why is this happening? It's like, so you get to become the best version of you. And without that, like you can't. And I know there's people that say you don't have to go through those moments, you know, to become your best. I haven't met a millionaire, multimillionaire that hasn't gone through moments like that, that hasn't really held the depth of polarity, that hasn't really walked the greatest storms. I don't know any that have been like, everything's been okay, like we're good. You just don't get there like that. So I believe there has to be these moments in your life and these stories that you write.
Mm. Yeah, I love that so much. And yeah, I, that's a word like bypassing. If you don't feel it, you have to feel it. It doesn't matter how long you put it off for, like it's stuck in your body. There's no space to receive the $1 million months, the dream empire, all the beautiful things that life has to offer. And I couldn't even fully receive my kids in my marriage because I was not a good version of me, because I was always crying and I was upset and I wasn't able to hold it. And people are like, why are you so happy now? I'm like, because I'm divorced. No, he's a beautiful person, but it, like, I found myself, and I'm sure you went through the same process where you're stuck with yourself. You have to look yourself in the mirror. And I feel like it was so part of God's plan to get to this point where you're stripped of everything, where you can see what matters. Like my kids are worth more than anything. Like they are just, and I couldn't even feel that before because I wasn't able to hold how beautiful, how incredible they were, because I couldn't hold myself. And that journey's everything, because now it is like, I don't want them to grow up. I look at baby photos, I'm like, just stop growing. Like, can you just stay little? Like, I just don't, I'm just like, hug them. And you know what they're like when they get older, they don't want you to like hug them forever. And you're just like, I love you so much. They're like, ew, get off me. But it's like, I look at our kids and like we're just so blessed because there's so many people that cannot have kids or cannot have these experiences. And I do think like motherhood, it doesn't have to be with kids, but some form of the energy of motherhood is huge when it comes to being able to build an empire, because the capacity that you have to hold when you're responsible for somebody else's life it's out of this world. And to hold the swings and to stay grounded and not lose yourself when they're losing themselves, like it's huge. It took me like 11 years for my nervous system not to go crazy when they were throwing their tantrums. And when you have initiated from that, the world is your oyster. You're like, oh, like staff member suing me, cool. Like I deal with tantrums on a day-to-day basis. I've got this. Like you're just
Cleaning up poop, yeah. Well, and that's the part too where you stay so grounded, and I don't want to say humble, but you know what it like it's just like, yeah, nobody's looking at you like you're this like God. You're like, wait, my bone. You know?
well,
Yeah.
it is humbling. It is so humbling. You'll turn up like this, and you like, you love what you do. You have so much presence and feminine energy, and the ability to channel your life's work. And then you go home and it's like, I didn't like you today. You didn't let me have that smoothie or whatever it is. And you're just like, thank you. Like, and I always say, like, God, keep me humble. Like, keep me humble. Like, there's, as you were saying earlier, like, the children are the polarity. They are the groundedness. They are the into this world. If I didn't have kids, I would not be this embodied. I would not be this able to hold what I hold. I would be in la la land. I would be so delusional. Like clients would be mean and I wouldn't be able to hold it. I'd just be like, oh, like instead of just like, cool. Like you can hold clients shit. I can hold all of it because
And we have such a depth of understanding. And I think this is the piece too, where it like you just said, like you'd be in la la land in the sense of like there's not like, circumstances aren't really changing, you know, like you're not really holding it all and being able to understand. Like they give you such a lens of compassion and understanding. And I often think, and I was actually going to write about this, but where I wrapped up a mastermind today and just hearing experiences. I had a lovely childhood and, you know, I was raised in not from wealth, but like a lot of love and a lot of family and a lot of support. Like my parents really, really supported me, but that's not everybody's experience. And when I see my kids and everything they have and what they see as normal, and then I see, you know, all of these women that I work with that are coming from these places where they're still getting to know themselves and support themselves and, like you said, regulate self and fall in love with self. And I see my kids, and then I see like, you know, these grown women, and I'm like, oh, like they just need the love of a really great parent, you know? And it makes me fall in love with my work, and gives me again so much gratitude that I have these kids to be able to be like, oh, like this is their child right now, you know, like their little inner child coming forward, and they never got that love and they never got that support. And thankfully my kids, you know, have that. And I don't know the trajectory of their path in their lifetime, but you know, they're always going to feel that from me. And I get to bring that kind of love into my coaching, into what I see in people, into what we get to support them with. And it's so beyond a strategy, you know, it's not like, here's how you sell something. It's like, oh, I see what's coming through here.
100%. The inner child. I definitely, when I first moved to Bali and was running retreats and, you know, huge transformational shifts, I'd see, you know, 60-year-old, 70-year-old women lashing out. And in that moment, if I was running it from the lens of a corporation, it would have been a very different outcome. But I just went into the mother and I was like, I love you. I see you. And that's all they needed in those moments because they were never seen. And I think the reason that God chose for us to have, you know, so many kids and have the life that we had prepared us for this work, because it is about the mother energy. There's so many people that didn't have incredible moms to look after them and hold them. And yeah, it's so profound. So I love all of that so much. My gosh, we like literally just went through the whole hour. I love chatting to you. I love your energy. You're such a vibe. So is there anything, like if you had one microphone to share any message with the entire world and just whatever it would be, what would it be?
To look fear in its eye and walk with it, learn to walk with it. And I would say let yourself become insanely unrelatable because you're so aligned. Like it's just the world doesn't get it. They won't get it. Fall in love with your alignment, become unrelatable, be able to hold that and continue to walk with fear because it doesn't end, you know, even in my stage of alignment, I still experience fear and I have to look it in the eye and walk with it and choose it. And yeah, and stay sexy.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Always stay sexy. Look your best. You feel your best. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. Where is the best place for everybody to come and find you and check you out?
So I am mostly on Instagram. So the Amy Elizabeth Instagram handle is my personal, and then Alpha HD Instagram handle. And then our website is alphahd.com, I believe. I think there might be a dash in there. And then Facebook, Amy Elizabeth, and yeah. And then inside of the Alpha Femme world, I'm in there a whole bunch as well.
Amazing, amazing. It has been so lovely chatting to you today. Thank you so much for your time, for your energy, for your essence, for all the work that you do, that you've done. It's such an honor. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you so much. And our projector conversation has been life-giving. So thank you.
You're welcome. So welcome.